horsepower, price per horsepower. In some cases, it may be a price per reduce. So it just depends on the technology. There will be a generic bucket where any type of technology energy efficiency project can be submitted through that incentive bucket. And the auctions are going to start at an established bid price, which is kind of like they'll all start a certain price per kilowatt hour and then obviously drive down this price. There will be buy now options during auction, and we will have some buy now options throughout the year next year, similar to an eBay model. And at the end, the bidder with the lowest cost per unit are considered the winners. We may, depending on the need, have tiers in each bucket or each auction. So it might be number 1 and number 2 wins, which would be the lowest price per kilowatt hour. Start over here, or am I jumping the gun?
And me just fine?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Angie. I'll take over control from here. To get a little more of the details, what we want to do is just give you some information about the program, how the RFQ process is going to work. So I'll jump into a little bit of information about the RFQ and why we're doing it. Really, the RFQ is set up so that information about who would be bidding in the program, some of your background in terms of what types of projects you may be interested in participating in, and the types of technologies and so forth. We're going to use this information really to define the number of auctions that we may have. Again, that's still up in the air depending on the response. Right now, we're probably looking at about 50 or 60 different entities bidding the auction, maybe even more. As Angie indicated, the awards for the individual auctions will range from $10,000 all the way up to potentially $1 million. They may range from things just like incentive dollars, or they may be technology-based, or they may even be customer segment-based. In terms of why you should really participate in this program, the real benefits are, and I guess the benefits of how it compares to your standard prescriptive or custom programs are, first off, you do have a solution provider bonus within this program, a half-cent per kilowatt hour saved. There's no longer going to be a solution provider bonus within the prescriptive or custom programs. So if you want that extra kicker, you're going to have to participate in the Bid for Efficiency Program. Also, within the Bid for Efficiency Program, we are no longer going to have any tiers. If you remember from last year, we did have project incentive tiers. So when you hit a certain dollar amount, the actual incentive in terms of a dollar per kWh rate went down. We're still going to continue that with the prescriptive and custom route. We're actually going to lower it to $25,000. Last year it was $100,000 where that tiering started. Now that's going to be $25,000. So if you have a large project and you don't want to have any tiering occur, you're really going to want to run that through the Bid for Efficiency auction program. We are raising the incentive cap to 70% of the total project costs for the auction program. We're still going to maintain it at 50% for the prescriptive and custom programs. That's fairly unique if you're interested in doing lighting retrofit projects, specifically T12 retrofit projects. Those are still be eligible within the Bid for Efficiency Program, but they will not within the prescriptive and custom. Kind of final benefits. First off, we're exactly sure what the incentives will look like for 2015. Unknowns there, just with the regulatory environment that's changing. So now is a good time to lock in your price when you know what it can be. So again, the auction gives you that availability. It also allows you to tailor your incentives in terms of the dollar per kW amount for specific projects or for specific customers. The 2015 prescriptive and customs, those are going to be set one rate for all incentives. So a couple to think about when you're done, deciding whether or not you want to participate in the auction. Who's eligible to participate? Really, it's any non-residential AEP Ohio customer that uses over 200,000 kilowatt hours per year, as well as the solution providers that serve those customers. They are eligible to complete projects at their own facilities, or could have solution providers that come in, win auction, and they will bring in either one customer to use all of their incentive dollars, or they could have multiple customers. So you're able to take a big bucket of money and distribute it amongst your customers as long as they have eligible projects. Your project requirements, again, this can be very similar to what you've seen in the past through the prescriptive and custom route. Are allowing you to bundle projects. So in this case, as an example, you could bundle a chiller project and a lighting project and submit those together through the Bid4efficiency program and be awarded at that winning $1 per kWh rate. Some requirements, you're going to have that minimum payback of at least 1 year to be eligible. And projects will have to go through the standard review process. So they will need to be pre-approved by AEP Ohio prior to starting the project. We are asking that all projects be completed by November 15th of 2015. This will give us a chance to review the project before the end of the year and make sure that we get you guys paid. I'd like to go into just the general program process to give you an idea of, from start to finish, how the entire program works. This is just a quick flow chart, starting in your upper left corner with the RFQ process, which is where we are right now. Going through the kind of pre-qualification. Again, that RFQ is really just to give us an idea of who all is going to be bidding in the auction. It allows us to give you, a login and username for that actual auction website. We will be hosting the auction. That online auction will be held starting October 1st. The winner of that auction, or the winners, I should say, of those individual auctions will in essence be awardees of the incentive bucket that they've won. If you are one of the lowest bidders and are an awardee, it's pretty much up to you to go out and find those energy efficiency projects, get them pre-approved by AEP, implement them, and upon implementation, submit your final documentation, at which point you will receive the incentive check based off of your winning $1 per kWh price. Key highlights of that process are, make sure you get your RFQ response in by September 15th. Once you have that in and you have been pre-qualified, what we'll do is we'll email you a login and password for the actual auction site. We'll be hosting a number of different training webinars as well as a mock auction event. So we'll give you a chance to actually go in there and place some bids so you feel comfortable with understanding how the auction site works. Once you've gone through the live auction, and if you are a winner, we'll ask you to move on to the implementation of your projects. And again, similar to what we talked about before, once you've implemented the project and it's been reviewed, it's going to follow the same prescriptive or custom route, if you're familiar with that in the past, that the incentives will be paid based off of your winning award amount upon completion of the project. To the request for qualification process. Hope you've all seen the RFQ thus far. If you haven't, please go out to the AEP website, and we'll have that link a little bit later on, and download the RFQ and make sure you get that in. It was released on August 5th, and again, it's due by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on September 15th. It's a pretty short RFQ. It's just a few pages, and really it's just trying to get information about either your company, or if you're a service provider, what type of services you put in the energy efficiency space. We're also asking questions like, what type of technologies are you interested in implementing, as well as, what's the incentive amount that you would be targeting, whether it's, $10,000 or $500,000 or $1 million. We want to get a sense of the type of and the amount of dollars you'd be looking to put out in the marketplace for energy efficiency projects. Responses are going to be submitted directly to Amy. So we've got her email address here. In essence, you'll just download that RFQ, you'll fill it out, turn it into a PDF, and then submit it over to Amy. You've submitted your RFQ. We will be responding to everybody to let them know if they've been kind of pre-approved as a bidder by September 19th. Like I mentioned, at that time we'll send you an email with the auction platform information. We'll we'll know about the 2 training webinars that we'll be hosting. The first will be September 23rd, and then will be September 25th. And we definitely recommend that you do attend those. They're quite informative in terms of how to use the auction site, how to log in, the kind of rules and regulations of using the auction site and so forth. And it's a chance for you to put bids, play around, and make sure that you're comfortable with placing a bid prior to the actual start of the auction. In terms of submitting that RFQ, if you want additional information on the RFQ, or if you have just general questions about the program, we do a toll-free number hotline that you can call. We also have a program email, so feel free to shoot us an email with any questions that you have. And we've got great information up on the website, the AEPOhio.com/bid4efficiency website. That will give you information that you'll be able to download, like the program guidelines, the RFQ. We've also got a list of frequently asked questions and other good information there about the program.
Jonathan, really quick to add to that, this is
Sure.
Angie. If a couple of questions on there, but if you're a solution provider that just asks how much incentive your customers have gotten over the past couple of years or this year. If you don't know the answer to that question, go and leave that blank. Don't let that hold up the RFQ. We can fill that information out when we get your RFQ. So, or you can ask somebody from the outreach team or myself to fill that in. But don't let that hold you up.
Thanks, Angie. Look at the types of auctions that we'll be planning to host. Again, this will be based off of the response that we receive from the RFQ. But most likely we'll have customer-only auctions. We'll have some solution provider-only auctions, and again, mostly we will have a number of different auctions based off of incentive amounts. Again, ranging from that $10,000 to $1 million in total award. We also are looking at having some technology-specific auctions that may include things like light motors, HVAC, controls, and so forth. Again, really, we're going to wait until we see what type of technology that you're most interested in before we define what those auction segments will be. To talk some quick facts about the auction, we had some questions come up, so we want to make sure we address these. Again, we're going to have a number of different incentive buckets. You could win maybe a $10,000 incentive bucket and a $50,000 incentive bucket, or even a $100,000 incentive bucket. You are allowed to combine those buckets together to serve maybe a larger project. So something to think about as you're placing your bids. If you do win two smaller auctions, you could combine them to make sure you're covering an entire project. There is no penalty for not using all of your money. I want you to bid and win auction sizes that you feel you can draw down all of the incentive dollars, but there is no penalty for not using the money. What we are doing is we are giving you an extra bonus of a half cent per kilowatt hour if you do use 80% or more of your winning incentive amount. So it's a nice thing to make you think about the total amount that you want to be bidding on to make sure that you get that 80%. Question that had come up previously around customers. So if a customer does win an auction, but they have a specific solution provider that they want to use, that solution provider is still eligible to meet that bonus, that solution provider is eligible to receive that bonus of a half a cent per kilowatt hour. We'll just need to have that customer make sure that they designate who that solution provider is on the application when they submit the project. One thing to note, you will have the choice of using your funds if you are a winning auction bidder. You could either use the funds from the Bid for Efficiency, or you could use the prescriptive or custom incentives for next year. You will have that choice. Really, it's going to be up to you. You'll probably want to run the numbers internally to see what's going to give you the best bang for the buck. In some instances, the Bid for Efficiency will work out better for you. In some instances, it may not. In some instances, it may be best just to run your projects through the prescriptive or custom. It's really up to you. It's your choice. Idea of what the actual auction site looks like. So once you've been given a login and password, you'll log in site. It's just an online platform. This is the actual kind of screenshot of what it looks like when you're placing your bids. It's considered a blind auction, so in essence, you will see your bids, obviously, won't see anybody else's. You'll see where you rank. If you kind of look at the lower part of that screen, this person is ranked third. He's not a lead bidder. He knows that he has to put in a lower bid price to get into a leading position. So since you don't know what that lowest bid price is, you don't know where your competitors are bidding, all you really know is that you bid, in this case, point cents, and that you need to bid lower to be put in a first place ranking. We will also be doing something that's a little bit unique. We're going to be putting out a buy now option. Similar to eBay, if you're familiar with that, if you don't want to wait until the end of the auction and you just want to say, hey, listen, with this buy now rate that's already out there, it'll be a set rate that's put out there by AEP Ohio. You will be able to click a buy now button and in essence just lock in that $ per kWh incentive rate instead of wait until the end of the auction. For you that do decide to do that, your rate will be locked in at that low price, but the auction will still continue for the rest of the bidders. Mostly we will have several buy now options available for each individual auction. And just to give you an idea of what that would look like on the actual auction site, you'll see in the center there the buy now green button. In case we have it listed at 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour, so it's most likely going to be a fairly low rate. But if you're comfortable with that number, feel free to click that buy now instead of having to wait until the end of the auction, or potentially wait for the auction to go below that price. We did run you through just a couple scenarios of example winning bids and projects, just to give you a sense of how it compared to 2015 custom incentive prices. Hopefully those will give you an idea of where you might want to spend your effort and why you should participate in the Bid4efficiency program. In this instance, we've got a $75,000 auction with a winning bid price of 4 cents per kilowatt hour. So the bidder has in essence $75,000 to draw down from. To do on that in terms of what that means for kilowatt hour savings, it's about 1.875 million kilowatt hour savings, and how you come up with that is just straight $75,000 divided by that 4 cents per kilowatt hour. So this winning solution provider identifies a VFD project that exactly matches that 1.87 million kilowatt hours in annual energy savings, and that project is about a $100,000 VFD installation project. And so that solution provider would receive a $75,000 project incentive, primarily because it's capped at $75,000, just because that's what their bid amount. Would also receive a bonus incentive, that half cent per kilowatt hour of $9,375, for a total project incentive of $84,375. They would also, on top of that, receive a solution provider bonus of another $9,375 because they had exceeded that 80% of their total auction award amount. Now, comparing that to the 2015 custom route, again, the custom numbers are still up in the air, so we're not exactly sure what they're going to look like. But right off the bat, they would be capped at 50% of the total project cost. So in essence, they would only see an incentive of $50,000 for that project. They would not receive any bonus incentive, and obviously they would not receive any solution provider bonus incentive either. So you can see there's definitely an advantage of participating in the bid for efficiency compared to the 2015 within this scenario. A thing to think about, we're assuming this would be a $50,000 project based off of 8 cents per kilowatt hour, but we are going to have tiering that will start at $25,000. So we may not get to that $50,000 total incentive because the tiering could be strong enough where it would push it down below that $50,000. So something to think about as you're comparing the two. And it gives a little more detail of what I was talking about around the tiering. Again, tiering is going to start at $25,000. If you look at what we did last year, the 2014 tiering, that started at $100,000. So in essence, you would receive 100% of your calculated incentive up to $100,000. $100,000 to $300,000, you would receive only 50% of the eligible calculated incentive. And then of that, it goes down to 25% and then 10%. So since we're going to start at $25,000 of that tiering, it's going to be even lower this year. So definitely a strong advantage for participating in the Bid4efficiency program, especially for your larger projects. So projects that are going to receive above $25,000. The second example we have here is a T12 lighting retrofit project. In essence, this solution provider bid on a $50,000 auction bucket. Again, was awarded the contract, the bid at 4 cents per kilowatt hour. He was the lowest bid at 4 cents per kilowatt hour. Total kilowatt hour that he was responsible for, or she was responsible for, was 1.25 million kilowatt hour savings. So, for example, if this provider identified a T12 retrofit project that was $100,000 and saved 1.25 million kilowatt hours per year, in essence, they receive a $50,000 project incentive, the cent bonus, which is another $6,250, the solution provider bonus, which is $6,250. So their total incentive would be $62,500. Now, comparing that to the 2015 custom, where T12 retrofits are not eligible, again, they would receive nothing in the custom program. So another good idea to participate in the Bid for Efficiency program if you're going to be doing T12 retrofit projects. Moving on, I think what I'll do is I'll turn it back over to Angie and allow her to wrap things up. And what we'll do at the end of the program, we'll have some time for Q&A. But Angie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks. So, as a reminder, if you guys have questions that you want to type in, and we'll go over them at the end, feel free to do that. Or we'll have some questions Q&A time at the end. But just to reiterate some of the program timelines that John had spoke about, the RFQ was released already, so if you don't have that or you need access to that, it is on our website, or you can contact us. We have another webinar for those of you, or maybe some people in your company that weren't able to attend this one, on September 4th. The RFQ is on September 15th again. We will let you know and give you the approvals on before the 19th of September, and I'll give you logins so they can participate in auction and get into the platform. We have mock webinars and trainings coming up on the 23rd and 25th of September, so we'll send out information and registrations for those as well. That anyone that submitted an RFQ will definitely participate in one of those. They'll probably be pretty similar, so probably don't have to participate in both, just one or the other. And the actual bidding event is going to be a matter of weeks rather than hours as it was in the past, but we're going to start on October 1st and they're going to run through the 22nd. We spoke about this already. There will be different times, and it might even go over a couple of days for the auctions. So if you are participating, bidding on a couple, 2, 3 different auctions, and they will most likely end at all end at different times, so that you can obviously push your last bid. If any bids are placed, and judge me if I'm wrong, in the last minute, we are going to auto extend the last minute of the auction. We're going to auto extend the bidding time of 5 minutes.
Correct.
Okay. Just with all of our programs, we're going to end it December 15th, or the end of December doesn't give us enough time to review all of the applications and get them paid for the year, so we'll always end them a little bit early. So November 15th of 2015 is when the projects should be finished. If for some reason you have a larger project or larger projects and you're in auction and you want to use auction money and it's going to extend into 16, of course, just reach out to us and let us know. We are planning on doing another auction next year for 16 projects, so there may be an opportunity for us to kind of grandfather you in to that and extend those winnings. To a few things that John had spoke about, you only get solution provider bonus in 2015 through the auction, not through the normal prescriptive and custom programs. We will still, for those new construction projects and those of you that might be new construction designers, we will be paying the design incentives. That is independent of the solution provider bonus, but the solution provider bonus will only be for auction projects. In the auction will be no project incentive tiers. In the normal programs there will be, and it will be starting a little, lower than is right now, which is $100,000. It'll start at $25,000. You have some other, we can pay up to 75% of the total project cost as opposed to the 50% in the normal programs. T12 retrofits can only be submitted, delegate incentives and can only be submitted through auction money. So if distributors win a bucket of T12 money, they can of course pass that along to many various customers. If customers come to us mid-year and say, I want to change out my T12s, then likely what we'll do is we'll be able to give them a list of all the companies or distributors or contractors that won T12 money, and they'll have to go through one of them. So give you an advantage as well if you're a solution provider. And my point I want to make about this slide is why not? I mean, there's really no risk to you. It's a second option to deliver to your customers. Everyone makes options, so you won't essentially be stuck with whatever incentives we put out for 2015, and we'll give you another option to be competitive in the marketplace. And the information to contact us and about the program, this is the website for the Bid for Efficiency program. There's a really good list of FAQs that we've gotten in the past and answers. So there's questions and answers or different scenarios on the website as well. So I advise you to take a look at that if it doesn't make sense. And if you have additional questions or situations that you'd like to talk to us about, feel free to reach out to us. I guess the good thing about the auction running for several weeks is that, throughout the auction, if you are a bidder and you're kind of confused about what's going on or what you do, you can talk to us during that time frame. We will have, the hotline and everything open. And with that, that is really all we have for today. We thank you again for your time. I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. If anyone has any questions. If not, then reach out to us at a later time and ask some questions.
Free to throw questions out there, or if you want to, you can submit them to the chat as well.
Mute people.
I did. They should be off of mute.
Okay. We'll want another 30 seconds, and if we have no questions, then we'll end the call. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, everyone. And if you have any questions that come up, or if you have questions about the RFQ, please let us know. Appreciate your interest in the auction.
Hey, Angie, real quick, we do have some questions that are coming into the chat.
Oh, you do?
Yep. The first question is, looks like somebody missed the beginning of the webinar. Is there a way to get a copy of the presentation? So, Angie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we will have the presentation online that they can download. And also, yeah. I'm assuming we can probably email it out to everybody that attended.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Let's see. The next question was around if there is a cap on what you can receive based off of your past performance. At this point in time, there is no cap unless it exceeds the total. And you might need to do a better job of explaining this.
Okay.
You can only receive incentive up to, 50% of the total amount of funding that's available for this program?
Correct. So there is no cap per se on what you can receive based on your past, but we're going to police that as much as we can. No one customer or a solution provider can win than half of our total auction money. So in this case, right now, that number is $6 million, so no one customer or provider can win more than $3 million. That's the first option. And there is an incentive to bid on an appropriate amount based on your past performance. So we'll be having one-on-one conversations with all the potential bidders based on what they've done in the past, on what buckets they may or may not be bidding on, and encourage to bid on an appropriate size bucket. So we'll be policing as much as we can, but there's not a cap per se.
The next question is, how long will the live auctions last? Again, the live auctions will start on October 1st, and they will run until they'll run until about October 22nd. Again, they'll end on different dates, but they'll run for about 2 weeks. Questions that I have, at least through the chat. So again, feel free to throw any questions you have out over the phone, or if you do have any last-minute questions, submit them to the chat. Otherwise, again, you can submit your questions to the email address or give us a call on that toll-free number that we have listed up now.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for all your time.